A certain question arises in some very curious Pokemon fans. Why are fossil Pokemon rock type? You might have never thought about it since fossils resemble rocks, but maybe there's more than meets the eye when it comes to fossil Pokemon. So sit back and relax as we take a look at some of the fossil Pokemon. A good point to start off with in this video is actually looking at the Pokemon called fossils. These Pokemon are Omanite, Omastar, Kabuto, Kabutops, Aerodactyl, Lileep, Cradily, Anorith, Armaldo, Cranidos, Rampardos, Shieldon, Bastiodon, Tirtuga, Caracosta, Archon, Archeops, Amora, Aurorus, Tyrunt, and Tyrantrum. It is also worth noting that Relicanth is also considered a living fossil since it was around from ancient times. These Pokemon share the rock typing, but maybe this is not exactly what they should be. What exactly is the cause for these Pokemon to be rock type? Is it due to the fossilization process or something else? A possibility does lie within the restoration of these fossils. For instance, you can't completely remove a fossil from a Pokemon, and they gain the rock type due to that. Omanite would be a prime example. Maybe this Pokemon never had a shell in ancient times, but because it was restored from a fossil, it now has the shell. For all we know, Omanite could have been one of the fastest creatures in the ancient era, but due to the fossilization of this Pokemon, it has become slow since it is restored with a shell. So now it takes a higher defense stat over the speed stat. Many of these Pokemon are said to have the rock typing since they came from rocks, but they aren't really if you look at them. Yes, fossils are mineralized, but the process is usually carried out underground, making them more likely the ground type. Fossils are also created by leftover sediment from water, which could lead them to be water types as well. Well, we know that Pokemon cannot have 3 types, so it would make sense that each Pokemon would take 2 of these 3 typings. Many of these Pokemon could actually have not received these typings. In actuality, Rampardos and Cranidos are the 2 Pokemon that are most likely to actually have the rock typing from the fossil Pokemon. They have rock heads, which often smash through things due to their sturdiness. The rest could have completely different typings. So what typings would these Pokemon actually have? Well, one type to replace the rock typing would be the dragon type. I know many of these Pokemon do not look like dragons and do not have dragon-like qualities, but dragon is also referenced as the ancient type. But as I said, many of them do not fit into the dragon type mold. If we assume these Pokemon all have their secondary types, then I believe it would work like this. For Omanite and Omastar, they would remain pure water types. It is likely that this Pokemon could be rock type due to their shells, if they even had them in ancient times, but we already discussed that. Some Pokemon like Blastoise, who also have their shells, are not rock type and they're just pure water types. And most likely Blastoise's shell is heavier than the shell on Omanite or Omastar. This logic could also work for Caracosta and Tirtuga. You can make an argument that Caracosta and Tirtuga could be water-ground types, based on the fact that turtles bury their eggs in the sand. Lileep and Cradily are another case, being rock and grass type, but it makes sense that they would pick up the water type instead of the rock type. They are based on crinoids, which live in the bottom of the ocean. They also learn some water-type moves through level up, and they are classified in the Pokédex as the Water Lily and Barnacle Pokemon respectively, both of which are associated with water. Anorith and Armaldo make sense to add the water typing to it. They are related to Pokemon like Golisopod and maybe even Scyther to an extent, both of which are bug types, giving it its bug typing. And Armaldo is even said to be the ancestor of many bug-type Pokemon, which is highly based off of its appearance alone. They also learn some water moves, so giving another point for the water typing. Shieldon and Bastiodon could also be rock types, but it is more likely that they would be steel type. Their facial shield is a very sturdy part of its body, which could make it rock or steel type. They also could have the ground typing, but I prefer the mono steel typing, especially with its ability soundproof, which really complements its steel typing as you can't scream through steel. I know you can't really scream through rock either, but a very powerful machine that could produce a very powerful sound wave could potentially break through rock. Fun fact, Archeops is the only Pokemon to have its base stat total match its Dex number in the National Dex at 567. Archon and Archeops are bird-like Pokemon, but many dinosaurs had feathers but also could not fly. And these Pokemon really can't fly, but they use their wings for balance and to jump farther or higher in the air. Dragon type seems likely for this Pokemon, but you could also maybe give them the ground typing, since they have mastered ground speed or the ability to escape gravity by jumping higher and farther. You could have flying type on these Pokemon due to them being a bird. And you can make this argument since Delibird is based off of Penguin, which is another one of the flightless birds in our real life, but it also has a flying typing. Tyruns and Tyrantrum are easily seen as dragons, since they resemble the Tyrannosaurus Rex. But another type that you might not have noticed is the Dark type. For this Pokemon, the T-Rex was known as one of the apex predators of the prehistoric area, making sense that their Pokemon counterparts would also be top dogs. Their ability to be seen as a threat or capability to bully other Pokemon because of their strength is enough evidence to make them the Dark type. Maybe Tyruns shouldn't be a Dark type since it is in a childlike form, but definitely Tyrantrum should be a Dark type. Amora and Aurorus should retain their Ice typing. These Pokemon live in colder climates and are relatively slow due to their strong leg structures. They most likely weren't fast enough to hunt for food, making them primarily plant eaters, but they possibly scavenge carcasses. Aurorus could pick up the secondary typing. Fairy makes sense because they can create Aurora Borealis in the sky, something that seems mystical. Dragon also could be a type since they are based off of dinosaurs. You may have thought I missed Aerodactyl, but I purposely saved it for the end since I have to cover its mega form as well. Quite simply, Aerodactyl would be a flying type, but it also could be a dragon. Dragons often are associated with the dinosaurs, and a pterodactyl-based Pokemon, definitely a dinosaur. It could maybe be a dark type even. Aerodactylus, which is its actual fossilized name in the real world, is heron-like, and also is the ancestor of the herons. So it probably has a similar diet to present-day herons, basically small aquatic life. These Pokemon wouldn't be too aggressive, making the dark typing pretty illogical in that sense. As for the Megaform, Aerodactyl would lose its flying type in favor of the rock type. It's hard to ignore the pointed stones on its body, making rock typing pretty obvious for this Pokemon. This form has been theorized as the original Aerodactyl form, making our common form an evolution of the original Aerodactyl. But this theory is highly unlikely in my opinion, because the Pokemon was extinct and couldn't have gone through an evolutionary process while being fossilized, making it lose its rocks. The rocks are most likely there for power, giving Aerodactyl more strength to compete with the powerhouses of the age, but with flight, that power isn't really needed because it can escape by flying through the air. Fossil Pokemon are complicated, which makes it easy to classify them as just rock types. But the possibility that these Pokemon could have different typings is always fun to speculate. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for future videos on this channel. I do have a Twitter and a Discord if you'd like to follow them. There are links in the description below. You could also support the channel in the description by using my code at Cinch Gaming or by purchasing something on my Amazon wish list. That's all I have for this video, so I'll see you in the next one. But until then, I am ChaosMay006, signing off. Bird it up.